Hey guys, William Inferno here today with the overview of all the summer 2011 Hero Factory sets. This was the 3.0 Savage Planet Wave. I'm sorry if I sound kind of distant. I'm standing up right now and my camera's a little bit lower so that it can kind of see most of these sets. In this episode of Classic Reviews, I'll be talking about, you know, the quality of sets. Maybe I'll talk about the story, the episode that we got. I'll talk about the games and some of the stuff that was released with this wave, rather than talking about the sets because I've already done the reviews and everything. But just to list them off quick, on the bottom we have Raka XL and Scorpio, which were $20 sets. Then we have the bins, which are Nex, Stormer, Furno, Stringer, Raka, and Bulk. Raka and Bulk, you kind of can't see that well, but they were all part of the 3.0 Heroes line, and they all retailed for around $7 or $8, I believe. And then we have over here's Fangs, Rawjaw, and Waspix, which were these smaller or medium-sized $15 villains. And then we have the big one, Witch Doctor, in the back, which was I believe $35. I still haven't looked this up since the last Witch Doctor review that I did. Right, I'm sorry. What I was going to say was I believe there's like a promotional poly bag released with a couple of pieces in it, but none of them were new, and it was just like one of those free trinkets you get from ordering from Lego Shop. So these are the main, I believe, 11 sets, I want to say, or 12. There's 6 heroes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 villains, 12 sets. 12 sets in total here in the Summer 2011 wave. As for the story, we got a 44-minute special, which depicted basically Witch Doctor was Aldous Witch. He was a teacher at the Hero Factory, and he wanted more Quasas, so he went to Quatros kind of illegally, kind of overpowered himself with Quasa, turned into the Witch Doctor, and started controlling all these animals to gather Quasa for him so that he could become the most powerful. Little did he know he was sort of wrecking the planet, I believe. It was slowly deteriorating because of the lack of Quasa. All of it was being taken out. And Raka was sent on a distress call to go pick up Aldous, and then that's how the other heroes found out, because Raka went missing. So they all went to investigate, and they found Aldous there doing all of his evil work. So they all teamed up to stop him, and in the end, Raka XL, which was built using extra pieces found on the planet, was able to beat Witch Doctor. Now, my opinion on this was, you know, it was sufficient for the wave. I guess it told the story pretty well. It held up the sets pretty nicely, but what it didn't do is it didn't really affect the continuity of Hero Factory. I believe that the first 2 waves had a nice story to them. And I believe as you got to the 3rd wave and it started to not like show the continuity between the 3 waves, it started to get a little annoying. And what I mean by this is the first wave was Von Nebula, which was a great story. It really set up the basis for Hero Factory. Of course, it was simplistic. It was for kids. I mean, come on. But for, you know, story-wise, it was pretty good. I mean, it was nice to watch, and it was like, what, 88 minutes long? It was like an hour and a half long. So it was nice. I think the second wave, 2.0, it was kind of a letdown because it was a lot shorter. It was smaller in size, piece-wise, to the first wave, too. But it still had an interesting story because of that one hint in there, like Fire Lord was part of Stormer's past. So that idea of Stormer's past, like everything he's been through is coming back to bite him. We didn't know a lot about Stormer. We didn't know the mystery behind him. And I think the 3rd wave was just kind of there to be sufficient for the sets. It didn't really do anything for the story. Stormer's past wasn't explored. There wasn't any mystery to it, really. Maybe it gave us the new character from Hero Factory, Aldous Witch, but that was pretty much it. There wasn't really anything like mind-bending or you know, groundbreaking when it comes to in terms of story with this wave, which is why I kind of look back on it and I was a little disappointed in it. I mean, it was a really big wave. Let me tell you about this. Like, the sets themselves were really fun sets. Really fun to build. New, ambitious ways of building CCBS. And the heroes looked more like a team. They were like an animal sort of tribe team. It was really cool. But I think the reason I don't hold this up as my favorite wave of Hero Factory, and I don't actually like it more than 2.0, if I'm being honest with you, it's because there was just a lack of, like, it wasn't very necessary. This wave didn't necessarily need to happen. Again, it was really fun. It was a really cool wave, but it didn't need to be there. And I think that's what I feel. I envy original Bionicle G1, the kids who grew up with that, because it was so filled with lore, and there was constantly story building every year, and everything was connected through this mind-bending, like, I mean, Greg Farshey wrote like 26 books, and I think when Hero Factory started off, it had that. It had like this idea that there was going to be more. But as you get to the third wave here, you can kind of see that they didn't really invest that much into making you care about the story. They wanted to sell sets, which is fine. They're a toy company. It's understandable. These sets are fun. But for me, my personal opinion, and a lot of other people who don't like Hero Factory because of this one characteristic of it, is the story continuity and the lack thereof that existed, you know, as we got to the third wave. A lot of us fans started noticing this, and we still stayed with it, because trust me, there was way better sets after this. But yeah, and the one big thing about this wave is that it really did like improve upon the CCBS building. I mean, within 6 months after 2.0, we already got this stuff. Like, Witch Doctor is a groundbreaking set for Hero Factory. It is often noted as one of the best CCBS sets in existence, which is debatable. There's other sets that I think could also stand up with Witch Doctor. But all in all, Summer 2011, the sets and the story, I mean, I love the sets, but I think the story just was very lacking. And then as for other stuff that went with it, I believe there was comic books that basically just retold the story from the episodes, written by Greg Farshey, I believe the comics were. And I only have like 2 of them, and honestly, they're not that interesting. They don't add anything to the story. And there was 2 games that were released along with this. There was the Creep Crushers 3.0 version, which I believe, yep, there was codes on the backs of the lids, which is just like the 2.0. There was nothing revolutionary here either. With the Creep Crushers game, it was the same. You basically would scan the codes to get your respective hero, and then you would go into the game, and it'd be like a 2D, like chibi heroes fighting against chibi villains. And it was just like spacebar to jump, or maybe it was spacebar to shoot. I don't know. It was like those normal, you know, little kid game controls, like games that you would play, flash games that you would play when you were a kid. That's basically what this game was for Creep Crushers. And then there was another one released along with it. I'm trying to remember if it was actually like a thing though. It was like the game where you pointed and clicked, and then the hero would walk to that spot. It was like different missions. It was actually a little more in-depth. It was more of an in-depth game. And I know they made it for the 1.0, that's for sure. I know that because I played it a lot. And I'm positive that they made it for the 2.0. And I remember seeing a poster for it for the 3.0, but to be honest with you, I can't remember if that game actually ever came out, or if it was, you know, shelved or anything like that. It doesn't really matter at this point though, because they were just Flash games, and truthfully, I think Flash games, especially on Lego.com, are lost in existence after a few years. So, I mean, they were fun. I remember playing them, but I think it got to the point where it was repetitive, and that's what I love about Breakout, the 4th wave of Hero Factory, if you don't know. Introduced this really fun 3D, not open world, but it was a third-person game, which was really fun at the time. It wasn't really like revolutionary in terms of third-person gaming on Lego or anything, but it was way different from what we got here. So yeah, I'd say Summer 2011 in total. When I was a kid, obviously, this was a fun wave. This was really fun. Watching the episode, you know, at that point I didn't really care. I wasn't really thinking too much about the continuity, but as Hero Factory progressed, obviously, I started to get more weary of it. And I started to look back on this wave as the first wave that really, like, shocked me in the face, I guess, about how Hero Factory wasn't really paying too much attention to their story. But I think this wave, it was good. It's not my favorite wave, but I think there's a lot of good qualities about it. So that's pretty much all I have to say about this wave. I'm a little sad to be leaving you guys again. Classic reviews are over for now. I will be doing breakout ones. Again, I said this in a video I think earlier, a few weeks ago, or whenever this actually gets uploaded. I think I'm doing them weekly, and this is being filmed like 5 weeks before it's actually out. But I will be back with the breakout stuff. I just don't know when that's going to be, since I'm busy filming Randy the Red Roxy Rebellion and doing some other stuff in my life. So that's about it for Hero Factory Classic Reviews Season 3. Thank you guys for supporting me through this series. I know it's kind of declined in viewership throughout the couple of years I've been making it, but it's fun to take a look at these sets again. So yeah, thank you guys for watching this stuff, and I will see y'all later.